Hello everybody, Super Duper Boy here, and today I'm doing my first full Godzilla video after the movie. It's been a little while, but I want to talk about a few things relating to Godzilla vs. Kong and all of that. I just got back from my second viewing of Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I like it even more. A little detail I noticed was in the credits. It said, when it was going through all the character names, it said Godzilla played by himself, Ghidorah played by himself, Mothra played by herself, and Rodan played by himself. I just like that little detail. I wanted to talk about it. But I just want to say some theories I have about Godzilla vs. Kong. So my first one is I am pretty sure that Mothra will be in Godzilla vs. Kong, but I'm not sure about Rodan because I don't know what his role would be, and we know he's nesting in a volcano in Fiji because of the credits, the credit news. But I think Mothra will definitely be in it. I think she'll come back in the movie and be the one to convince Godzilla and Kong team up. I think that's what's going to happen with Mothra. She's going to help them take down the new big bad enemy, which we don't know what it is. I don't think it's going to be the mechanized Titan on Skull Island. I think that what that is it's probably just to fight off the skull crawlers. I don't think they have any rights to any other Toho monsters. So I'm still going to say that there's going to be no extra Toho monsters in Godzilla vs. Kong, especially because they probably want to have a balance between like stuff from the King Kong franchise and stuff from the Godzilla franchise. I think it could be like a Jaeger, but I think Universal Studios partly owns the rights to Pacific Rim because I don't know if that'll work. But we do know because of the novelization book for King of the Monsters, which I actually haven't gotten. I also have to get the concept art books pretty soon. But apparently the skull crawlers were awoken by Ghidorah's call. Like all the terrible stuff in the Hollow Earth came onto Skull Island. So I'm wondering if Kong will have to retreat from Skull Island, and I don't know how he would be able to get off that because maybe the island is overrun by evil monsters, and that's why they're improving security on the island. It's probably really dangerous because if Kong leaves, then all the terrible stuff on the island will escape to the rest of the world. Maybe Mothra could carry Kong and bring him back, and then Kong and Godzilla fight or something. I'm not really sure. We do know, again from the newspaper things, that there's a seismic disturbance on Skull Island, and I think what that is probably the Skull Island Titans coming up to like attack Kong. It's possible that there's even bigger and scarier stuff down there because Ramarak, the skullcrawler that killed Kong's parents and that Kong fought at the end, I thought he was a little small because shouldn't he have been fully grown and being bigger than Kong? So maybe it's possible that there's an even bigger skullcrawler on there. So yeah, a lot of stuff is probably coming out of Skull Island. I think what will happen is Kong will somehow have to get off of Skull Island, and then Godzilla and Kong will fight for a little while. Mothra will convince them to team up and fight all the Skull Island creatures and whatever they're going to do with that Ghidorah head that was teased in the after credit scene. I'm sure that something crazy is going to come out of that. Definitely not Destroya. I'm still confident that there will be no extra Toho monsters in Godzilla vs. Kong because now I think in any future movies they can put as many as they want because of the new Toho deal, but the Toho deal with Legendary and Toho happened after Godzilla vs. Kong even finished filming. They are doing reshoots though, so I think they could probably sneak in a few like cameos because we did even see that Gigan, Kumonga, and even Gamera, which is pretty crazy, the concept art. So who knows? They could have little Easter eggs or even just quick scenes of them. I don't think there'll be any major players in the movie though. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff that came out of the newspapers. The newspapers at the end. I'm actually not going to go over it. There are other videos that cover it, like D-Man 1954 on his channel. He did a really good breakdown of it. But there's a whole bunch of news, and the big one that a lot of people are talking about is mechanized Titans on Skull Island. Monarch is increasing, and it also said that Monarch's going to adventure the Hollow Earth. Yeah, I think in the synopsis of Godzilla vs. Kong, it mentions the Hollow Earth. So definitely that's going to be a big part of the movie, and I'm really excited about it. It's possible they'll go into the Hollow Earth through, like, because we know there's a bunch of holes and vents to the Hollow Earth on Skull Island. So maybe that's how they'll go into the Hollow Earth. It's probably going to be really dangerous if they're trying to increase security on there. It's probably really dangerous because it's overrun with monsters, and King Kong leaves, then everyone's screwed. King Kong and Godzilla are kind of working together if you think about it, because if Kong isn't able to protect Skull Island, then all of those crazy monsters will come out and like destroy the world, but Godzilla is keeping the other Titans in check. Titans apparently are being lured to Skull Island. This is another thing from the newspapers. I assume this newspaper thing is like probably doesn't take place right after King of the Monsters, but more likely takes place right before Godzilla vs. Kong. I actually can't figure out why this is. Maybe they just feel a disturbance with all the monsters coming up, or there's some sort of new device there where if a villain tries to draw all the Titans to Skull Island, and then maybe they'll try and round them up in one place and then kill them all. That's just a random theory. They could recreate the Orca. I'm not sure I think that wasn't even destroyed. I think it's still there. They could recreate the Orca, and maybe that's what's drawing them to Skull Island, some sort of alpha frequency thing. Who knows? That part I don't really have an exact theory on. I'm sure there's a reason for it. It's gonna be hard to Kong. It's gonna be hard for Kong because all the other monsters are loyal to Godzilla now, which could be a problem for good old Kong. My next little bit of information is that according to Deadline and basically legendary people who work at Legendary Pictures, Godzilla vs. Kong is actually not going to be delayed and is going to stick with its March release date. So they're going to try and do reshoots, and they're sticking with this release date. I don't know how well that's going to go. I guess we'll see. I guess I'm fine with this. I mean, we get the movie earlier, so that's nice, and that's like an okay release date when it comes to competition. There's not much competition. I want to talk about the box office for Godzilla King of the Monsters for a moment. It's not great. I'll say that. It's $343 million right now. The Monday results just came in, and that's not great. I think the movie's going to end at around $470 million, which would make it a smallish success, but not a big hit. Definitely not at all, and way far behind the other Monsterverse movies. So I don't think this is going to be the end of the Monsterverse, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe, of course, Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2 were big hits, but The Incredible Hulk was basically a box office flop, and then Captain America: The First Avenger did all right. It was also a very small hit. That wasn't that huge of a success, and the first Thor movie did all right. So now the MCU is really big. So I think the Monsterverse is going to start off a little not super great. Maybe King of the Monsters is going to be its worst box office results, but then I think it's going to go up and start becoming more successful and more popular. I do think that Godzilla vs. Kong has to be a $650 million, $700 million sort of box office, though, to make up for the huge loss of King of the Monsters. It's not a loss; it's still a small gain, but the studio, because they have to replace the money they lost working on the movie, they're probably only going to make maybe $100 to $130 million for the studio, and that's not really that's not that much when it comes to funding the movies, because they have to make enough. They have to gain enough to make the next movie and still have some money left over, which is not happening that great. King of the Monsters will probably still turn in around the same amount of profit as Pokemon Detective Pikachu, which is good because Detective Pikachu is already getting a sequel, and people overestimated that film. Every single movie right now is underperforming. Detective Pikachu it's still a success, but it's way below predictions. People are thinking it would be an $800-900 million movie. Dark Phoenix is a flop, and Secret Life of Pets 2 isn't doing so great. So I think it's just a bad time for movies, just movie fatigue, and that's why, because Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be the main and only action movie around the time it comes out for a little while, I think it's going to be able to be a bigger success, especially with more casual viewers. But that is pretty much all I have to say about that. King of the Monsters box office is not doing great, but every movie series has its up and downs. And if Godzilla vs. Kong is a big success, like a big success, then we should be okay. Oh, and also, some footage for Godzilla vs. Kong was shown at Cinemark, Europe, and all it says is footage for Godzilla vs. Kong was shown at Cinemark Europe. So that's literally all we know. We don't know what the footage is, and there's just been footage shown, and that's basically all we know. I just wanted to bring that up. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.